Positivism, wrote Guizot in his Meditations, is a word, in language a barbarism, in philosophy a presumption. Its genius is sufficiently indicated by its chosen name, in which it qualifies itself, not like other disciplines of thought, by its object, but by a boast. The votaries of our postmodern world often disclose a tendency to a materialism which devalues moral or spiritual truth, particularly that having a European cultural significance, while the liberal intellect's sensuous character concurs with the fascination of the empirical method whenever applied to sensible objects, which makes it overlook all things sacred. It thus becomes so inflated by its brilliant success in detecting and explaining the laws of a second nature, that it forgets the implication of a first cause, which constantly presents itself to the reason in all the former, thereby lapsing into the hallucination that it can construct a system of things from secondary causes alone. This proclivity to representationalism, which is an infirmity and vice of the fallen mind, is the core philosophical process of positivism, perfectly embodied by contemporary liberal methodology. When this errant philosophical system becomes politicized, however, such as occurs today, with cultural Marxist elements, one achieves a weaponized rationale capable of wiping clean the customs of an entire civilization. A key development arising from this ideology has been the constructed and controlled perception of time. It has become commonplace now to speak not of some actual date, but of the current year. This habit arose from the politicized collective observation that the linear march of time and its historical significance now only mattered under applied liberal conditions. Since 9/11 till the present, all history seems to have been converging onto a singularity, then disassociating itself into an indefinable morass, free of generational distinctions. We no longer think in terms of remembering or feeling a particular decade for its unique autochthonous flavor, for all associations with a kindred past are now diapered within the scope of a cultureless, technocratic promotion. This non-time is the triumph of a material positivist ever-present now, in which the psychic spirit of contemporary liberal theology can only exist, possessed of an urge to cargo cult a postmodernism which loudly proclaims, for example, that Western culture isn't real. Such rhetoric, which digitally permeates every sector of the new social complex, is meant as an attack on we Western cultural conservists, while conjuring in the mass media an apprehension of a monstrous, all-encompassing enemy, which can then be used to eliminate any voice speaking for the existential concerns of an entire race of people. Western culture, as a specific set of customs, art and aesthetics, social institutions, and the achievements associated with these, was given a deliberate overdose sometime in the 1980s. In fact, that is likely how Generation X issued into being, via nostalgic weakening or tedium vitae, which came with a longing to end the European West altogether, whose habits and collective traits now had to be dictated rather than gracefully handed down as it was wont in the past. What occurred in the interim was the wholesale deconstruction of European culture, engineered by simulation and advertisement. The Marxian concept of alienation had already been disseminated for decades from the university and NGO systems, creating a horrifyingly new spiritual crisis of meaning for Westerners. No longer was the European man merely estranged from his culture by virtue of slavery to a mechanical corporate apparatus over which he had no control, but he had also become a redundant, replaceable cog in its machinery. Without grounding in the harsh demands of natural environmental pressures, where the struggle to survive and create validity for oneself is sustained, Europeans ceased to produce those cultural and temporal artifacts that once marked their existence as a European one. The agents of consumer capitalism had simply sifted through the wreckage of Western culture, selling it back to them in a repackaged form, one that was also palatable for the diverse, multi-ethnic groups that were fast colonizing their homelands. Within this broken social order, Europeans could no longer pass down any genuine cultural experience, not because there wasn't one, but because it wasn't theirs to give anymore. And what the vast majority of so-called nationalists have been too terrified to admit to is that the cultural appropriation of this reworked Western culture was already accomplished a long time ago. Moreover, the globalist philosophical system, which cannot explain reality nor present it in any concrete form, lest it lose metaphysical authority, operates solely via abstract, psychologically refined counter-symbols to impress itself into the collective consciousness of its victim target group. It depends upon the representation of a stylized, bigger, better, bolder hyper-reality designed to thwart the subject's perception while simultaneously extracting his sense of natural connection and focus. This has less to do with distorting the picture of our world, but rather establishing the framework of a new, unconscious, liberal reality as a thing unto itself. And this exterministic social engineering scheme has become the main focus of the mainstream institutions, not a failure of them. We must know them for what they are, as the neoliberal information complex, where the intersection of global corporate capitalism, progressive politics, and gatekeeping all coincide. But what is the specific philosophical meaning behind the content they are sending us? That the medium itself is the message, composed of transience, inauthenticity, and ultimately the advancement of spiritual nihilism. But, as with all things, there is a silver lining to this manufactured crisis. What they haven't considered is that 1,000,000 years of evolutionary backbrain independence has given we humans, and in particular we Europeans, a leg up on them. We will not go down without a fight, and when boxed into a corner, we outperform the opposition on every occasion. This time everything is for keeps, and they know it. Now, we too must simply acknowledge the state of affairs as it really is, and choose the path that is our destiny.